Hello everybody, it's me again, back here with another edition of Amy's Rant. Probably most of you have heard the story by now, which is that there was a letter, an anonymous letter, sent to a family in Ontario, Canada, that said some extremely disparaging, disgusting, ugly things about their teenage son with autism. The letter, it was allegedly written by a neighbor, and it is signed One Pissed Off Mother. So presumably it's the mother of some other children in the neighborhood or whatnot. And the reason that this has me so incensed, I mean, I'm sure you can guess the reason. Do I have to spell it out? The amount of abuse that's hurled at people on the autism spectrum seems to be unending, whether it be verbal abuse, emotional, physical, and or sexual. And this latest tirade is all the more disturbing because so many of the things that are said in it are clear proof of the fact that this person is on the outside looking in. You on the outside, you see a child with autism, you hear them making noises. To you, that's noise. And it annoys you. But if that's me, I'm singing. If that's me, I'm laughing. That noise to you is only noise, but coming from me, that's how I'm expressing myself. It seems like a lot of people are frightened when people on the autism spectrum express themselves, because the ways in which we express ourselves are not the same as the way neurotypical people do. And naturally, anything that's different is greeted with fear. Different does not equal bad. Different does not equal malevolent. And different does not equal noise. If all you're hearing is noise, then you are not paying anywhere near enough attention. But for you to go on and call all these things about this child that you consider inhuman is kind of ironic, really. Because everything that you've written speaks far more to the quality of your character than that of this child who has autism. Because of the fact that neurotypical people are not on the autism spectrum, they have a certain amount of privilege that they exert over us. And this is quite possibly the worst scenario, the worst case of abuse of that privilege that I can recall ever seeing. But quite possibly the worst part of all is that the things that were written in this letter are things that many of us who are on the spectrum have already thought about ourselves. The one example that calls out to me in the letter is this person saying, "No normal girl will love or marry your son." You don't think I haven't already thought to myself that I'm not able to be loved? You don't think that hasn't crossed my mind 100 times? It's a very difficult thing to think that you're too difficult to love. But even worse is when you know it. I knew it in college when my first boyfriend broke up with me and said that he was going to go find himself a real woman. I knew it after that when every guy that I developed some form of interest in wasn't interested in me the same way, and in fact just lost interest. I've been cast aside. I know what that feels like. And every one of us who's on the spectrum is trying to give ourselves a chance because we are hardest on ourselves. And you won't give us a chance. What chance do we have? As if everything else that you said weren't bad enough, you had to conclude the letter by saying, do us a favor and euthanize him. Euthanization? I'm sorry. When did we get to Nazi Germany? Because I think I must have missed the memo. How dare you tell this woman to put her child down like an animal? You know, there was a time when I thought it would be better to be dead than to be alive and have Asperger's like I do. I mean, I just thought that things were never going to get better. And I think that if I were in this young man's shoes, if I knew that such a letter had been written about me, I would believe that things would never get better. But at the same time, I would never want to give you the satisfaction of knowing that you got to me. as a self-advocate, as an autism advocate, and as an individual on the spectrum who has fought like hell to be in this world, I won't let you talk like that to someone in our family. That you are that little voice inside all of us that tells us that we're not good enough, that we're broken, that we are wrong, that we are evil, that we are disgusting. You are that voice come to life. And I heartily look forward to stomping you back down with all of my might and all of my vigor. And I look forward to the day when I never have to hear from you again. And hope is what I am going to do and continue to do. Hope for a better world in which people like you sit in silence instead of inflicting pain on others. And a world in which every single person on the autism spectrum knows his or her value and is able to realize his or her potential to the maximum. That's the world that I want. Not the world where you see my singing and my joyful shouting as nothing more than noise.